This is Ben V from Ludovico Technique, and you're watching Amps.
All you said, absolutely incredible, by the way. Congratulations. How does it feel to have your debut Bloodstock show?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. We didn't really know what we were in for, and I could safely say we were overwhelmed by the amount of support that we were shown. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. No, and it really was. It was a great turnout, and I think a big part of that and your persona is the mystery that shrouds the band. And can you share a little bit about why that is and how that complements the music, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in these day and ages, like a lot of artists, they'll go on these rants and tirades online about every opinion that they have. And I find, personally, that sometimes people want a little bit of an escape from that. Sometimes people want to focus a little bit on the music. And so if you enjoy gothic, dark things, then we're the band for you. So, you know, when it comes to people having certain experiences in life, perhaps you've had a little bit of depression bout in your life. Perhaps you have a little bit of anxiety. You know, that's the things that we write about. So we want everyone to know that there's a place for you. Yeah.
I love that. That's really well put. And talking on your name, can you share how Stanley Kubrick and Anthony Burgess inspired you?
Sure, yeah. So Ludovico Technique is, in fact, from A Clockwork Orange. It's the name of the treatment given to the main character, Alex, to cure him of his evil ways. And we like the idea of that because we like concept of good and evil. Is it a choice? Is it something that we would all agree should be forced upon people? Not forced. I think that really it brings up interesting concepts of what free will truly is. And so a long time ago when I read that book, I thought, if I ever start a band, I'm going to call it that. And here we are.
Okay, love that. And looking at your visual style, which is incredibly impressive, by the way, well, how did that evolve? I mean, how did it start out? I presume it's evolved over time. How does that evolve with your music, do you find? Could you explain a little bit about it?
Yeah, so have you ever been in a sauna and you've allowed the toxins to sort of permeate through your skin, right? Well, when it comes to what I look like on stage, it's a similar situation where all of the depression and the heartbreak and the loss of family members or loved ones throughout time sort of permeate. All that energy permeates through the pores and it bubbles up to the surface. And so the entirety of the audience, we get to experience a true expression of all things that are buried deep within, you know.
It's incredible. I love how you put that. And looking at your music and how you came together in 2011, it's now 2024. How has the process and the music itself evolved with yourself and changed over that period of time?
Yeah, there's never been a time that I wrote something that later on I was somehow embarrassed about. I think if you write things, regardless of what time period is in your life, if you're genuine about it, even years later, maybe you're not even going through those same things, but it's always going to be, you wrote it in a good place of purity and genuine expression. So, like, how things have changed these days is, I feel like, whereas before I would try to write these songs that maybe were a little like longer or whatever, nowadays I try to, almost like a chef sharpening their knife, the least amount of cut is what a chef always goes for. And when you get better and better at your craft, the least amount of so I try to write songs a little shorter, not on purpose because it has to be, but just to kind of get it to be a little bit more powerful, a little bit more concise. I'd say concise. There you go.
That's good. And just coming off your debut UK tour as well, how was that response been?
Yeah, so we didn't know what to expect here in the UK. We didn't know if it was going to go. We didn't know. And now that we know, I can safely say that the UK has some of the most passionate and supportive people across the entire world. We've loved it so far. We've loved being here at Bloodstock. We've loved all the other shows that we've played. And we cannot wait to come back because here there are genuine fans of art and music in a way that, rival anywhere else, for sure.
I love that. That's good to hear. And talking on that, the UK scene in itself, how does it compare to perhaps the US? I know that's where you talk primarily. How does that compare to here?
Yeah, so obviously, as you all know, the U.S. is a very large country. I think that when we were doing the UK tour here, we were going from, I think, Glasgow, and we went down all the way to Wales, and that's really only about the size of, we have a state called like Florida. It's not much bigger than part of our country. So what I would say is when you tour the US, I mean, you're on the road for, when you to go from New York all the way to LA, I mean, that's weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And so what I would say is the difference is here, you can see a good cross section. So we've gone from Glasgow down to London and all in between, and seeing the different little kind of subcultures of the overall UK culture has been very interesting to us. And we loved it. Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'm sure you British fans will be very glad to hear that as well. And we're going into the sort of quick fire round now. I just want to ask, what would you say your top 3 most influential songs?
Oh, of ours or songs of other artists?
Of other artists.
Of other artists, I would say.
I got this.
Hey, yeah. Probably. I mean, I listen to a lot of different stuff. Here's what I'll say. Oftentimes we're asked, like, what do you love? Like, what are your songs? What are your artists? And a lot of times I say, well, we started off influenced by things like Skinny Puppy and like Typo Negative and stuff like that. Nowadays, I listen to classical music. I listen to metal, rock. I mean, I'm loving doom metal right now. So when it comes to like 3, I would tell you this. It would be 3 for this week. And then if you interview me again next week, it'll be a different 3. And if it was last week, it'd be a different 3. So I'll stick with this. I'll say I love music in general that is passionate. You ever have someone tell you, oh, you should listen to this. It's really good. And you think, well, what's good mean? You know, what's good? I think I can definitively say good usually means something along the lines of passionate. So whatever genre it might be, as long as it's passionate, then it's probably going to move you in some way. Okay?
That's brilliant. I love that. And maybe a bit differently now, but who would be your 3 festival headliners for, doesn't have to be Bloodstock, but if you were crafting your festival?
Right. Well, I was telling someone else, if it were my so we're here on a sold out day 2, I think it is, or day 3 Saturday. I think it's sold out today. Yeah. I will tell you this. If it were my 3, it wouldn't be anywhere near this sold out. So I'm going to leave booking festivals to people who make a sold out day. I mean, mine would be like stuff like Typo Negative, people that can't even, obviously aren't even with us anymore. So Joy Division, stuff like that. And it would not be a sold out show, you know? So I'll leave it to the professionals.
Well, Pat. And what can people expect from you next?
So from here on out, we're going to do probably a couple more singles when we get back to the US for the rest of the year. And then we're going to probably tour again in the spring of 2025. Yeah.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to it.